Hey guys, Ronin Reaper here. So as you can see, I'm outside the cinema, and as you can tell by the t-shirt, it is new horror time. And well, this is quite an interesting one. I'm about to head in and see The Exorcist Believer. So of course, today is a Exorcist double bill for me. I literally watched the original film just this morning to prep for this one. So yeah, Exorcist Day it is, we'll call it. I'm quite curious about this because this is directed by David Gordon Green, who of course helmed the recent Halloween films. I will admit I am a bit of a defender of that trilogy, but I'm curious as to how this will turn out because this has got like nothing but trash reviews from like everyone. So morbid curiosity is kind of satisfying me here. So I'm gonna head in, get my snacks, get my seat, and go see The Exorcist Believer. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and a red frozen Fanta, red for the body and the blood. I don't know. Anyways, David Gordon Green, do your worst. So yeah, just got back from seeing The Exorcist Believer. So this is kind of an interesting one because literally this morning I watched the original film for the first time, sort of as a bit of last minute prep for this one, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a real fun classic piece of horror with some genuinely good writing and directing that does plenty to offset that some aspects are kind of dated today, but whatever. It's super entertaining and a genuinely dramatically compelling film. So going into this one's kind of interesting because this is a legacy sequel, where it's like it's erasing all the other sequels, and this is gonna be like the true continuation. So yeah, that's a lot of weight to live up to. But is the film actually a good continuation, and does it stand enough on its own there that it can live up to the classic original? Let's find out. So, in the film, we see photographer Victor Fielding have to make a difficult choice, and which has left him a single parent raising his daughter Angela on his own, with whom he has a fairly close relationship. One day, Angela and her best friend Catherine go out into the woods and go missing, and only to mysteriously reappear 3 days later in a barn with no memory of what happened. The girls are returned home, and from there, some demonic goings on take place. As we quickly learn, they might just be possessed. So, look, this is, of course, coming to us from David Gordon Green, who helmed the recent Halloween trilogy. And look, I'm a bit of a defender of those films. But the 2018 film is, yeah, I think it's pretty much, we'll all agree, yeah, it's a pretty good film. And Kills was okay, and you know what? I will say I kind of liked Ends as well. It's flawed, but whatever. I liked that what David Gordon Green was going for. And whatever you make of these films, opinions are like assholes and all that. But like one thing that we'll say maybe agree on is that those films at least did a good job of capturing a specific vibe, through tone and the visuals, it did a good job of believably feeling like it could be in the same universe as the original classic. This, on the other hand, yeah, it's pointless, and yeah, it's basically The Exorcist in like name only. This is like you could name this like literally anything else. You could remove The Exorcist from the title and nothing would change. This is incredibly generic, and it's a shame because like there are ideas here that David Gordon Green is trying to present, such as parallels to the rebirth of Christ, and even like some challenge to the religious aspect, and some an idea of psychic connection. And these are valid and interesting ideas, but the problem is these ideas are presented on a surface level and never really fleshed out, which is a shame because you could have a potentially have decent film out of these. And the problem is, as well, what we have in its place is about as generic an exorcism film as you can get. Like, all the sort of, familiar trappings of this subgenre are present and correct. We've got aggressive, shouty Bible readings, we've got, body convulsions and roaring demons, and, dark ooze being vomited out. Like, think of an exorcism cliche, you name it, it's there. Like, and it just means the film just it's so dull that like there's nothing new of value that it could have added to the Exorcist franchise. It just feels like a cash grab has been made, to cash in on an iconic property without any kind of effort into making an actual half decent film. And I mean, it's a shame. Like, it's not badly made or anything. Like, the cinematography is competent enough, although the editing does leave a bit to be desired. The problem is, in the original film, the cinematography was part of a larger whole, and it built up a meaningful sense of atmosphere. This just it doesn't like it. It just feels like you've got some like half decent shots, but with no purpose or actual meaning or atmosphere. It's just yeah. Here's some shots. All right. Here's some generic exorcism shit. Like, and I mean, if there were characters here that we could get attached to, like, I would be okay. But like, the problem is the characters here just aren't all that interesting. Like, there's no characters we can really get attached to or get invested in. Like, it's a shame because like I kind of liked some of the performances. Like, I thought Leslie Odom Jr. did a pretty good job as Victor Fielding, the main character. He sold very well. Yeah, the grief he has over a difficult choice he had to make a long time ago, and now this even more difficult situation he's put in. It's he does a good job, and I gotta admit the opening scene with him that establishes his like tragic backstory actually was a fairly strong opener. Uh, in fact, it actually gave me some kind of hope that the film might be better than it was. The problem is, in amongst all these like potentially half decent elements, and is a well among the generic exorcism tropes aplenty, is a hollow attempt at getting the fan service out there. Having those moments that have all the hardcore Exorcist fans, going like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of him pointing at the TV. It rings so hollow. Like, there are shots here which are like direct homages to the original film. Like, we open with a shot of two dogs fighting. We get a scene in a boxing gym, and there's even a shot of like an outside shot of a window, like, just like in the original film. But the problem is, it just feels like it's there for people to go, "Oh, look, I recognize that," and it just rings so hollow. Like, not even the return of Ellen Burstyn as Chris McNeil, the heart of the original film, can save this. Like she's introduced, and it's supposed to be a big fan servicey moment where everybody claps, and it's just it's so goddamn hollow, and like it doesn't help that what we get after that is a complete waste of the character, like complete waste of Ellen Burstyn. And Actually, it's around the point she's introduced. The film just goes off the rails and just devolves into cliche after cliche after cliche, and it's so deadening to watch. Like, I will admit there are kind of moments where it gets so stupid that it almost borders on like unintentionally hilarious territory. Like there's this big Avengers Assemble finale where all the characters have a go at like performing an exorcism. It's so dumb, but it never reaches that unintentionally hilarious value that it should have done. And yeah, I'm running out of things to say here. I didn't really like this film. It was not great and never justifies its existence. It does leave on a fan servicey note. I won't spoil. You probably don't give a shit. I will say though, if this is what the rest of the trilogy is going to be like, God help us. Like, yeah, glad to see their $400 million investment is going really well. And yeah, Exorcist Believer, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Like, it has some elements of merit, but by and large, generic, didn't need to be made. Actually, I tell you what, if you do want to go see an exorcism film released this year, watch The Pope's Exorcist. It's nothing special, but unlike this film, it's actually like kind of fun. Watch it. It's much more worth your time than this. And yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen The Exorcist Believer? What did you think of it? Will you be seeing the rest of the trilogy? And are you a fan of the original film? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.